Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Friday. Every Friday we get together and we have a look at the top 5, something normally to do with Blood Bowl. Now, normally I'll put a little poll out to say, hey, what are your suggestions for this? But it is kind of the Gutterball release period, okay, where we're all kind of brewing up rosters, playing games and trying things out. So what I wanted to do this week was hit up my top 5 Gutterball teams. Now, this is not going to be the most winningest teams, to use NFL nomenclature, because we haven't played enough games to know. What this is my top 5 teams that honestly I'm just super excited for Gutterball, because I think they're going to play really well and be a ton of fun on the pitch. So that's why I didn't put a post out this week, but this is kind of my thoughts on what I think the top 5 Gutterball teams are going to be to begin with. Number 5 for me is the Khorne team. So Khorne are just so much fun in any kind of Blood Bowl. They fit in really nicely when you can sneak them onto your roster in Dungeon Bowl. They are great fun in 11s, but it is where 7s. They are so much fun in 7s. If you've watched any of our live streams or the last season of 7 Super Series, you'll know that Khorne are brilliant in 7s. Well, Gutterball is similar to 7s in the way of building your roster, similar to 7s in the amount of players that you're going to have on the pitch. Alright, it's going to be exactly the same. But you got a bigger roster, so not only can you take basically a Khorne 7s roster, you then either get to chuck on a reroll for good measure, which is going to help you when you double skull out or something, or you chuck in another Frenzy Boy. So the reason I'm so excited to get Khorne to the Gutterball pitch is because you get 4 Bloodseekers and the big lad, the Blood Monster. I'm sorry, I forgot what it's called. The big, what is it called? The Khorne, it used to be a Bloodthirster. The big Bloodspawn, thank you. The Bloodspawn as well. So in the Gutterball environment, you've got walls to smash into. If you're playing Sewer Bowl, you've got a hole to be pushed into. In fact, there's 4 holes. There's a line of slaughter as well. So if you can deploy 4 Bloodseekers and a Bloodspawn, you are going to be rolling 10, 20 block dice. And that is just absurd. Yes, I know, 1 in 9 of them is going to be a bad situation. 1 in 9 blocks is going to be a bad situation when you're making a 2-die block. With Frenzy, that statistically means that every turn, if you get a 2-die block with all of your lads, you're going to skull out every turn. But it also means that you're likely to make, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 successful punches. And when the ground is murderous, because you get +1 if you land on the ground in Gutterball, you get +1 to the armor break. That is just horrific. The brutality, the hooning that these guys can potentially give someone is just phenomenal in this. And now you've got the Bloodspawn as well with Mighty Blow, which basically becomes Mighty Blow +2. Not quite as good, but it is really not far off. It is phenomenal. And the fact that guy's got Claw as well is just absolutely dirty. Wonder if that stacks. Interesting rules thing. Maybe no, maybe it doesn't. Anyway, Khorne are brilliant in 7s, and I think in this environment they are just going to be very, very, very powerful. You're going to have those games where you skull yourself out and kill yourself out, but Khorne doesn't care. It's all about wherever the skulls and the blood flow. But I think you roll average or above average, and a good Khorne team is going to absolutely nuke the opponent in Gutterball. And I just think the possibility, the potential of the blood and the death is just phenomenal. So for me, number 5, it's Khorne. Number 4, and for me, it is a little bit more dashy than bashy, and this one is the Underworld team. So I was at Club this week, and I was talking to a couple of people, including Greenskin Phil and stuff, about which teams are going to line up really nicely. And Underworld are, I think, positioned really well to continue their. I mean, they are exceeding expectations. They are sticking around about 60% win rate in 11s. Pretty sure they're doing very well in 7s as well. And I think in Gutter Bowl, they are going to have a brilliant time too. You get a great mix here. You've got a big guy. You can put the troll on the line to get punched. He's still got Mighty Blow. He's still Strength 5. He's still going to be able to punch things into the ground successfully. But you take the Rat Ogre here. And the Rat Ogre is just a phenomenal piece in this format. Mighty Blow +1 added to the ground, and the fact he's got Strength 5 and the fact he's got Frenzy means you're going to be throwing 2, 3, 6 block dice a turn with this guy. You've got the potential for those Frenzy pushes to push guys into stuff, so even if you can't power them down, you can, smash them into a wall or smash them into the sewer hole. You've got Prehensile Tail to be a dominating kind of deterrent for movement as well, and that's the other brilliant thing about this team is you've got the PHT where you can put him on the line of scrimmage, and in this format there's a line of scrimmage, so your opponent has got no choice but to put 3 guys on the line. You can, generally speaking, tag 1, you might be able to tag 2 with Prehensile Tail and just give him a victim, and the rest of your team just gets to do stuff, and that's the kind of strength here. You get 5 positionals in Gutterball. Let's assume you're taking a big guy, whether you're going defensive or offensive is entirely up to you. Then you pad out. You've got the Thrower, who is phenomenal. You've got a Blitzer, who is incredibly consistent and also really fast. You've got a Gutter Runner, who is just awesome, and you've got a Strength 3 guy there to fill out as well. Or you could take a Snotling. I don't think that's probably where you're going to go, but I think the angle here is that from those pieces, you start off with a Skaven team. Good skill access, sure, but it's a Skaven team. And the difference here is that you can take a whole bunch of Goblins, and Goblins are cheaper than Line Rats, so you get the better numbers. And when it comes to Gutterball, numbers are a phenomenal thing. And those Goblins, even though they're Strength 2 and stunty, they've got that integral dodge, which makes them remarkably survivable. But more importantly, because they've got stunty, because they've got dodge, they are just 3++ everywhere. So you've got cheap linemen that are just scoring threats. And Gutterball is not a fast tempo thing, so speed 6 is just fine. There are no quick touchdowns. That's not fair. There's always an opportunity at a quick touchdown when you've got the players like on this team. But you're not spamming gutter runners, you're not trying to go 2-3-0 up. That's not the kind of game you're playing here. The game you're playing here is fight in the middle and then kind of move the line of scrimmage forward or break out and just try and go for it. And when you've got 3++ dodge elements with your Goblins, and those are the linemen, those are the worst pieces on your team, it's just brutal. You've got the big guy, you've got an excellent mid-range skill set with the thrower, the blitzer and the gutter runner, and then you've got a scoring threat with all of the Goblins, and because they're so cheap you've got the numbers, and you're going to be fouling anyway, and it's just what Underworld do. So I think Underworld are just a phenomenal team anyway, and in the Gutterball world they're going to get murdered a lot, but there's going to be a lot of them, and any one of them can score, and ultimately scoring is the way to win the game. So for me, number 4 is Underworld. Number 3, and aligning to the number of big guys you can take on this roster, it is the Chaos Renegades team. So we've already touched base on how good big guys are in this format. There's obviously always the nega trait. Okay, they're bonehead, they're really stupid, whatever. There's always the chance that their loner's going to hurt you. Not so much in this format. If you spent 100k on a reroll, it's a lot of your roster anyway, and you kind of probably most of the time want a couple of spare linemen. But what they do have is the ability to 2 or 3 die block almost every turn, and they've got Mighty Blow, and when you combine Mighty Blow with the +1 from the armor break to the ground, it is just so powerful. People hate Morg. They hate Morg for a reason. I love running Giants for a reason. Mighty Blow +2 is phenomenal. And when you are playing a 6-turn half, having a guy just stunned is a massive piece of removal. That's a third of the half that they're out. It is a big impact. So stunning people is absolutely fine because you're fouling every turn in this format anyway because you cannot get sent off. So anytime you drop a guy onto the ground, and you want to be doing that, and you want to be doing that with your big guys, you're being able to put the boot in as well. So if you break the armor and it's just a stun, you're going to have another go with somebody else. And it's a phenomenal little combo. But the beautiful thing here about the Chaos Renegades team is with the roster, you can get 3 big guys comfortably on this team, and I think have maybe 8 or 9 players total, which is absolutely massive. And you can even afford to get all 3 of the good big guys and leave the troll at home. If you do that though, you have to kind of sacrifice your positionals, but having an ogre, a chaos rat boy and a minotaur all on the line of scrimmage, backed up by great human linemen, the potential for chaos one way or another is just phenomenal. The whole reason you play Renegades is because it's exciting, because you get 3 big guys, and the big guys get to build up their own character as well. And you get this with this roster, and they will all exceed expectations, or they will fail themselves out, and you will get a good story. You can take the troll instead of the ogre. You can take the troll instead of one of your frenzy guys. I do love both of the frenzy pieces though. Yes, it is risky. Yes, you are going to be throwing more dice and you could get yourself in trouble, but the rat ogre with prehensile tail and that movement, the minotaur with the ability to over blitz, so blitz up to strength 6 and therefore 2 die somebody else's big guy, is massive too. So the rogue kind of controls the line of scrimmage and just creates a swirling melee of mighty blow +2 because of the ground, and the minotaur is point and click cruise missile. The ogre or the troll kind of backs up and goes on the line to get punched and then to just free block other people into it. So the troll's great for that because you've got regen, it just keeps him alive. The ogre's better because he's got Bonehead. You can pick any 3 of them and they will all have a brilliant purpose in this format. Even the troll is great in this format. You chuck him on the line, he's going to get punched, but he's strength 5, he's got great armor, he's got regeneration. The troll is brilliant, and the rest of the team here is great because even with like building with the 3 best or most expensive big guys, you're going to be able to afford the dark elf or the goblin, which is going to give you a really entertaining kind of other guy. You're going to be able to afford the Skaven for the extra movement. The combo of those is tricky, and that's the point at which you start either having to give up players or give up positionals. And when it comes to the Renegades one, well, you'll see the Renegades list next week that we've put it together for Gutterball, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's a super fun team in 11s. You get it in Gutterball, and it is just terrifying. So for me, number 3 is Renegades. Number 2, and what's better than 3 big guys? 5. The ogre roster is a ton of fun. With the Bonehead podcast, obviously we support ogres, but in Gutterball you can take 4 and 1 billion Noblars or 5 and like 3 Noblars. It's risky. The 5 ogre build here is risky, but that's 5 strength 5 pieces. And not only is it just the fact that you have got mighty blow +1 from the ground, but because of the way the pitch is built, you've got 3 running lanes. If you've put 5 ogres blocking 3 running lanes, there are all of a sudden no running lanes because you've got a strength 5 mighty blow piece just rocking up. You chuck him on the left hand corridor, you chuck him on the right hand corridor, you chuck 2 in the middle and 1 in kind of reserve. A Noblar just to be sidestep and annoying. Nobody is getting through that. No one's getting through that. And you play this game of defense, which is just a case of, yeah, you pick your 1 blitz and then ogres are going to do what ogres do, and that's just eat you in reserve. There's going to be times where they bonehead, there's going to be times where they both down out, but in this format where there's basically no rerolls, it doesn't matter if you're rolling 2 dice with an Ulf Warrener or a Bull Centaur, or 2 dice with an ogre, except the fact that if the ogre hits, he's got mighty blow as well, which is just monstrous, and you can run 5. At 4 ogres, you've got more big guys than anybody else. It's chaos, it's bedlam. But the fact is that you can run all 5 standard ogres with a few Noblars in this one, and it is just combat. It is just pure combat. You're not dodging, you're not going to be breaking through, you're not going to be doing anything other than just throw armor dice at your opponent. And some of them are going to stick, and honestly, I cannot imagine going toe-to-toe with 5 ogres for 12 turns in this format. It is amazing. I'm so excited that you can do it because this is just a brutal format, and I think ogres are just custom built for it. Cannot wait to get this roster to the pitch because it is just all of this is just, man, it's just Blood Bowl to 11, or more blood than bowl. But anyway, Ogres for me, number 2. Which brings me to number 1, and the team I feel is deserving of the number 1 Gutterball roster. It's the Goblins. So Goblins have just been brutally dealt some horrible misery over the last version of the game. They are the quintessential stunty team. There are teams that do everything they do but better, and and your special rules are getting nerfed. It's miserable. Generally speaking though, Goblin coaches don't care. They're there to do the stuff that Goblins do, which is just sneak about, put the boot in, play with secret weapons, and have a great time just reveling in the destruction. They are the quintessential chaotic evil team. They're just, maybe it's chaotic neutral, I don't know. The point is, they are chaos, and in this format I think Goblins are so well placed to do the goblin-y things that you want to do. We've seen some massive rosters in this top 5, and this is 5 out of 29 teams, and every single team in Blood Bowl has a great roster for Gutterball that you can look at and be like, damn, that is dangerous, that is murdery, that's got potential. But Goblins here, 750. I believe you can get 2 trolls, you can get the chainsaw, you can get the hooligan, you can get the bombardier, and you can get like 47 goblins and a reroll. So you are just so well set to do goblin things. You've got 2 trolls to go on the line to hit and be hit. That's 2 strength 5 pieces with mighty blow. That's going to combo wonderfully with the ground, and you are out muscling a lot of other teams by doing that already. You have got numbers in goblins, and the great thing about goblins is they're kind of looked down upon, but their armor is great. Gutterball is going to struggle, but it's the same as a lot of other players. Their speed is fine. Their dodge 3+ stunty is excellent though, so they are always able to 3++ into a position where they want to go, which is massive. Because what they want to be doing with that is supporting their trolls to hit you with 3 dice, giving the extra blocks to make sure that there's someone on the ground so that your hooligan can then wander in and dirty player +1. +1 from the ground. So your hooligan is now dirty player +2. Your hooligan is a tiny mobile death roller. And how are you going to get people on the ground? Well, you hit them with a troll, you hit them with your other troll, you throw bombs at them, and you chainsaw them. Or you block them with your normal goblins. I just think goblins are going to be a multifaceted, really fun, and absolutely violently deadly force in Gutterball. And it's about time they had something that they can really love. And I genuinely think if you've got a goblin team, go play Gutterball. You are going to love it. Your trolls are big, they're important. In 11s, they get forgotten about because your opponent just survives the first block and then they run away. There's nowhere to run in Gutterball, and there's not that many people left. And the ground is going to mean that if you don't survive that first hit from the troll, and then your trolls just get in the way. But you are going to be running around with a chainsaw that stays on the pitch at the drive on a 4+. Your bombardier, even though bombs have got nerfed a little bit, the guys getting knocked down are going to hit the ground, and that's going to, I believe, cause an extra armor break. And getting a guy on the ground in this format, where you can foul every turn, is brilliant, especially when the hooligan comes in and shines. You've got disturbing presence, which is going to ruin any chance your opponent had at actually doing anything with the ball, and in the meantime he's just going to be going around with 2 stompy shoes, picking up, or at least should I say kicking up, whatever's left of your opponent's team every single turn. On the flip side, everybody's strength 2 and their armor is 8+, which goes down to a 7+ because of the ground, but I don't care. I'm just going to run out the chainsaw, my 2 trolls and the hooligan and a bunch of goblins and have a great time, and then when the chainsaw's gone, I'm going to bring on the bomber and do exactly the same again. Gutterball is less Blood Bowl and more just a skirmish combat mode using some brilliant mechanics, and I want to be taking the team that has the weapons, and the chainsaw, the bombs, and the stabby feet are just brilliant. Goblins are a ton of fun, but they struggle. But in Gutterball, they are devious and dangerous, and I just think it is awesome. So they're my number one, and I don't know, it's such an exciting new format. I really struggled to pick the 5 most exciting teams because honestly, and I've just been filming and brewing up the roster videos ready to go live next week, there is not a team I've come across yet, and I've done 14, 15 of them, that I haven't found a roster that I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I like that. That could go really well, or this is a smart decision, or that is just terrifying. And there's a couple of other ones that I've not even put on the list, and I think the biggest one that I've not put on the list is the Death Roller, because the Death Roller is pretty great in Gutterball. Dirty player +2 with no chance of being sent off is +3 to the armor. The downside of the roster is that they don't have any other mighty blow pieces, so it's a bit of a kind of like, you're just consistent blocking, which is fine, and they're probably my 6th spot. So dwarves are also really fun in this. Every roster's got an opportunity, but this is a ride or die format where you just have to try and outdice your opponent first and then ride the snowball all the way to the finish line. Anyway, let me know what teams you're excited for playing in Gutterball, because I guess it's all of them. Even Slan. Play Slan. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.